Hello everyone, welcome back if you're new here. My name is Mel, and this week I decided that I wanted to throw out my entire TBR and become a pirate girly. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. I was chatting with some of my friends and we were talking about how there were several books that we wanted to read, and then I noticed that a couple of them had pirate themes, and I was like, I really want to read these and they all have pirates in them, so why don't I just make a pirate vlog? I have about 4 books that I could include in this video. I'm not really sure which ones I'm going to pick up yet, but the first one is The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. This is the one that kind of sparked it all. This is the book that I really wanted to read but couldn't figure out where to fit it into a video. I've heard that this is a villain gets the girl, enemies to lovers, absolutely incredible, screaming, crying, throwing up for Eric, and I am so excited to find out what that is all about. I also have Where the Oceans Burn, which I don't think is going to be a piratey book. I know that it's oceany and I'm hoping it has some pirate vibes, but I want to read this one because it's a Polycon author, so we'll see if I manage to get to it. I know that it has pretty good world building and it's a slow burn new adult fantasy romance. And then I also have On These Black Sands, I think is the name of it, by Vanessa Johansson. This is also an Polycon author. I don't know whether this is new adult or young adult, but I know that it is absolutely pirates. There are fae in this, although I don't know just a ton about it. And then the other one is On These Black Sails by Claire Sager. I have read 2 Claire Sagers, one that I gave a higher 2, lower 3-star to, and one that I did DNF, but every time I've really liked her writing. It's just been the plot and kind of the tropes that I didn't love, so I'm hoping that maybe this one would work for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to this one because even though Claire Sager isn't a Polycon author, I have read from her before, so that's kind of at the lower end of my stack. If I get to it, great. If I don't, that's okay too. So I've been talking for way too long to intro this video, so I guess without further ado, let's just jump into the reads. It is Monday, and obviously it is a little bit later in the evening, and I have pretty much thrown all of my vlogging plans out the window because I've just decided that I want to read some pirate romance. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to read some pirate fantasy romance, and that's going to be the vibe for this week. I've probably done a much prettier intro already telling you guys what my plans are, what my TBR is, but I did want to start with On These Black Sands. Yes, On These Black Sands by Vanessa Johansson. This isn't a Polycon author, and if I've told you once, I've told you a million times. I'm going to a Polycon in April, and it honestly has just really snuck up on me how little time I now have to read all of these authors that I was wanting to read before I went, because I really do want to prioritize authors that are going to be there, so I'll know, do I want to pick up their books? Do I want to get their books signed? How do I feel about all of these authors? I'm not going to get another chance to meet a lot of these, so I really want to be prioritizing them, and I have just been telling myself, you've got plenty of time to do that, Mel. It's fine. It's not fine. We're coming down to crunch time. It's less than 3 months out. I need to be prioritizing some authors. So that is what I'm going to be doing with some of the books in this video. There is one book in this video that honestly sparked the whole thing, The Ever King. I've been wanting to read that. I've been dying to read that. So that's not a Polycon author, but this one is. I'm about 20% into this, and my initial impressions are I'm unsure. I really like the writing style. I think that the writing flows really, really well. I think that she has a good narration. It's easy to read. I think it's going to be a super quick, fun read, but I'm a little bit unsure about the especially the main female character. The guy we're seeing, and I like him pretty well. I'm not in love with him, but I do like him. The female, on the other hand, is extremely naive. I am assuming that that is intentional so that she is going to grow and develop, and we're going to see her blossom into the woman that she was always supposed to be. That's my assumption. And if that's the case, then it'll be fine, but she is extremely naive, and it's been pointed out, so that's why I'm assuming it's intentional. With that being said, this is supposed to be a new adult/adult fantasy romance. I think the characters are 20, so I'm assuming that that's the case. However, right now it's reading really YA to me. Again, I don't know if that's going to kind of level up as our character matures and grows and kind of learns her place in the world, or if it's just going to read a little bit more YA. I'm not sure. I'm not mad at it, but it is something worth noting. The only other thing I want to mention is part of the thing that I said it feels YA is that the world building actually seems pretty cool. There are going to be fae in this, but I'm not sure 100% all the role that they're going to play. And Basically, we're following one of three sisters, and they are essentially part of the council. They're the council's daughters, and on their 20th birthday, they do a choosing ceremony where they have to choose one of the three pirate lords to be betrothed to and basically just be a breeding horse for. And that keeps the peace between the Black Sands and the pirate lords, I think. So that part is really interesting. I do think that the world building, there are a few holes that I've seen that I'm just like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm hoping that that does start to clear up a little bit too. But overall, I'm rambling and being very nitpicky. This has been enjoyable so far. I think I'm gonna go lay in bed and read some more of it because honestly, I'm not gonna get into it because it's a lot to unpack. But this past week has been trying. We'll say trying, to say the least. There's just been a lot going on between family and personal. And like I said, I'm not gonna really get into it, but there's a lot going on, and I am trying to mentally escape from all of that in my books. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go lay down, I'm going to read, I'm just going to get swept away into the pirate lords and picture me some Orlando Bloom while I'm at it. It's not a me vlog without a car update. Hopefully you guys are not hearing too much outside noise. I do have the windows down because it is super nice outside. But I wanted to tell you that I have finished the Something Over Black Sands? Why am I just completely like the title has just gone out of my brain? Oh, On These Black Sands. There we go. I think this is going to end up being a 3-star from me. I liked it, but I was never fully invested in it. I think that the relationship was just a little bit too sweet for me. Our main characters are definitely not enemies to lovers. I guess you could call them reluctant allies to lovers, but it's more reluctant allies to friends to lovers, and they get to the friends relatively quickly. Our main guy, Declan, is just supposed to be this like bad pirate that everybody fears, but I never really bought that. He always seemed a little bit like a cinnamon roll. Ify was definitely a little bit more naive, and she kind of stayed that way. I will say that toward the end, I did like it a little bit better. I liked where the plot went, and I could be persuaded to continue on to book 2 because I liked the writing style, and I liked where their relationship ended up. I was not a huge fan of the third act breakup. That one seemed just kind of tossed in there. I mean, it was set up throughout the whole book, but it was definitely just kind of tossed in there to create drama. But at the same time, like, I liked it. I don't exactly know 150% what it is, but I was never just fully invested in their relationship, and their relationship is a lot more of the book than the plot. The plot is definitely slower and in the background until probably the last 15% of the book or so, I would say. So without being fully invested in the relationship, even though it's not like there's no on-page spice or anything like that, something about it kept me from being fully engaged. But next up is going to be The Ever King. I'm really excited to be reading this one. I have a copy of it at home, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to annotate it or not. I have been hearing amazing things about this. I think it is the Who Did This to You book club pick for the month of February, which is Tori's book club. I'll link that down below for you guys. But I'm just excited to finally be reading this after I've heard so many good things. It's villain gets the girl, super morally gray anti-hero vibes, and I am here for that. I am so excited to read it. I have read the title page, and it just honestly got me so excited. I haven't read a lot of it. I will touch base with you guys once I'm a little bit further in, but I'm going to be going tonight to eat dinner with my parents. We're going to go try a new restaurant that's supposed to be like Hawaiian inspired. I've heard they have really good food, and so cannot wait to go just eat all of the food. Obviously, I will take you guys with me so that you can see what we end up ordering, but I've never tried Hawaiian food before, so I'm curious to see what exactly that means. I'm assuming it's probably going to be more like their spices and everything rather than just their actual foods, but we'll see. I've heard good things. So that's what I'm going to go do now. While I'm driving though, I'm kind of all over the place as far as what books I'm reading. So The Ever King I'm going to be reading physically or ebook because the audiobook doesn't come out until March 5th. So I've just poorly timed this, but I am going to be starting Where Oceans Burn by Casey Bond. She has a pre-order for a Polycon, and I want to know if I like it in order to do the pre-order. So I am going to start this. This is the only one that I'm not 100% sure if it's pirates, but I do know that it's got like ocean stuff. So it feels like it's close enough, and I really, really need to read this Polycon author. So we're going to toss it in, and hopefully it is close enough. But I'll let you guys know what that's about once I have started it. So I'm going to go and eat some food. so I have just gotten home from work and I'm about to take the little rascal out for a walk. He is being very needy, and it's actually, I got home early enough that it's not dark outside. It's like 70 degrees. It's gonna be great. But I did want to tell you guys that I've gotten a little bit further into Where Oceans Burn, and I'm still very, very unsure about it. In the beginning, I liked the world building, even though I was a little bit more confused, but the more that I start to understand, the less I like the magic. This world is very oracle and goddess reliant. Basically, there's a lot of this whole, well, the goddess said so, so it has to be this way. And I'm like, And then there's a lot of like, she'll reveal it in time and the oracle will tell us. And I'm not a huge fan of that kind of world building. I don't like for there to be like set in stone prophecy kind of thing, or, well, we can't tell you right now, but she'll reveal it when she wants to. It just irks me a little bit. It's not my favorite. And then I'm 170 pages into this book and the love interest has not been introduced. And don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of allowing us to get to know our female main character and the world before introducing a man. However, I feel like 200 pages is a little bit too much. And I also don't feel like I'm getting to know her all that well. She doesn't feel like she has a lot of personality. And I don't feel like I've learned a whole lot more about her now than I did 100 pages ago. I definitely feel like 100 pages of this could have easily been cut out and scrapped. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. However, I did read some reviews and the reviews said that it starts to pick up about 200 pages in. So fingers crossed that that is the case and I start to like it a lot more. I am sure you can probably hear my little monster having a fit back here in the background because he wants something from me. So I am going to go take him for a walk. I'm going to pop in my headphones, listen to a little bit more of this. We'll see if I have anything more to check in tonight. Little monster 1 and the very needy little monster. Do you want to go for walkies? You want to go for walkies? We are back from our walk and he is a very happy boy. He has his bone and I think we're just going to spend the rest of the night chilling. But I forgot to tell you guys earlier, while I'm getting further into Where Oceans Burn and not completely loving it as much as I was in the beginning, the Ever King, however, I am thoroughly enjoying the further that I get. This book is just somehow completely addictive and I'm having a fantastic time with it. I will say that there's not as much banter as I expected there to be, but I still really like Eric as a character. I think that he is just cutthroat enough for me to get behind it, but not so cutthroat that I don't buy it. Does that make sense? And I think I'm about 45% of the way through this so far. I do think that I'm going to annotate this now that I've gotten a little bit further in. I think my biggest complaint at this point is I just don't fully feel the relationship between the two of them. I know that they were supposed to have some backstory as kids that helps kind of lay the foundation for where they are now, but there's a lot of like lusting after one another and feeling like, well, I should be his or something like that, that I just don't fully buy at their state of relationship right now because they haven't interacted as much as I would have thought that they would have. With that being said, I do really like the relationship. I just wish that I felt it a tad bit more. I wish there was a little bit more banter. I wish there was a little bit more moments between the two of them. But I think the world building is really interesting. And like I said, I am compelled. I am having a good time. I also did not realize, because I was reading this on my Kindle, that we have some really cool like illustrations in this. I love these. I'm gonna have to go through and look at all of these. So as much as I love Eric, this is not a love interest kind of thing because no. However, I think, is it Swede? Sewell. Sewell is one of my, like, I love him. I think that he is such a fun, kind of crazy, baddie character. And he adds just such a, not necessarily comedic relief, but there's just something about his character that I really like. He speaks in riddles. He is a little bit kind of crazy and he is the ship's cook. And I really like that character. I don't know what it is about him, but I really like that character. So anyway, so far I'm having a fantastic time with this. I think that I'm just going to continue to like Eric more and more. I just hope that I continue to like the two of them together more and more. So far though, having a fantastic time. This is great. So it is Friday and I have no reading update for you. What I do have is a very, very messy house. I think this week, just everything going on, I have not wanted to touch it. I haven't wanted to clean out my fridge. My dishes are a mess. I need to do laundry. So I get off a half day on Friday. So I get home a little bit early and I think what I'm gonna do, it's currently 12:40. And I think what I'm gonna do is just get as much cleaning as I can done in the next like hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm not gonna set myself this big lofty goal to clean the whole house. I just want to get the clutter cleaned up so that maybe I will feel a little bit better about my living space. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop in my audiobook, so hopefully I will have a better update for you guys when I am done. And we're just gonna set out, we're gonna get to cleaning and see how much we do. I am definitely gonna start, I think, in the kitchen because that is the messiest and it's where I come in, so I have to see it every single time I walk in and out of the house. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop in my audiobook, I'm gonna get to cleaning, and we're just not gonna think about the world.
I got this boy on my mind that can't be without, oh his eyes are killing me. And he keeps talking about everything that he likes, and I can't stop listening. I'm thinking about him all the time, thinking about him all the time. I'm thinking about him all the time, all the time. And my heart's beating fast when he's looking like that, oh his smile is...
So I have literally just finished Where the Oceans Burn by Casey L. Bond, and man, do I have the mixed feelings. Okay, first of all, this is not a pirate book. It's about a guy that can swim in the ocean and has gills, but it's not a pirate book. Not by any stretch of the imagination is this a pirate book, but we tried. The attempt was there. The other thing that I want to mention is one of the main reasons that I was reading this book was because I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to get the Polycon special edition. It has block sprayed edges, but it has like a foiled hardcover. The naked hardcover matches the dust jacket, and it's really, really pretty, but it's kind of expensive. It's like $40 for the hardcover, but I would need 2 of them because I want the first book and the sequel. But with that being said, it was a 3-star. I think it's going to be on the higher end of a 3-star scale, but while I liked the very beginning, it really lulled there in the middle for me. It got super, super slow. There were some elements to the magic system that I didn't really love. Then we hit about the halfway 60% mark and things became more interesting. We got to learn about a different side of the world. The love interest was finally introduced. This is marketed as enemies to lovers. I wouldn't really say that that is the case. I'd never, like, they are enemies, but when they meet, it doesn't feel like enemies. And some of the world building issues that I had became non-existent because of the nature of what was going on. I ended up liking their relationship. I ended up liking the character development here. And I think that their relationship is going to be kind of on the sappy side, but for some reason it worked for me. Normally I'm not a sappy relationship kind of individual. I want them at each other's throats. I want knives out, screeching, banter, but this one, I don't know. For some reason, I think it's just because it was so slow burn by the time we kind of got to a relationship point. I was here for it. I was good with it. So I'm trying to decide if I want to throw caution to the wind and try to read the sequel before I pre-order for a Polycon or before I decide to pre-order for a Polycon. I really have a bunch of other things that I need to be doing, and I don't think it'll make it in this vlog because it's Friday and I want to end this vlog by Sunday. So I have no other thoughts, nothing else to say. Oh, I do have something else to say. I lied. So I decided I was going to annotate the Ever King, and these are going to be my tab colors for this. Let me flip this around and see if I can show you guys a little bit better. So these are going to be my tab colors for this. I think it's going to work really, really well. I'm trying to decide exactly what I'm going to tab, and once I know that, I will share that with you guys. But I think those are my updates for now. I guess I'm going to read a little bit of the Ever King tonight. It's only 7:15, so I've still got a decent amount of time to go. Hello friends, and happy Saturday. I have a couple of things on the agenda for today. The first and foremost on the agenda is to finish the Ever King, or at least make a pretty good dent in it, because I was flying through this book, got to halfway, and then got a little distracted. So I definitely want to finish that today. I'm also going to be going out with Mom. That's our usual Saturday thing. I don't know what all we're going to be doing today. We'd mentioned pedicures. We'd mentioned like traveling down more like south of where we are. Has a couple of like outlet type places. So I don't know. It's a kind of a cold day, so I'm not sure we're going to want to do a whole lot like outside walking around, but we'll see what we get up to. And then also, if I get home in time and I don't really have anything else to do, I may watch Pirates of the Caribbean, because that just feels perfect for this vlog. And I told you, I was picturing Orlando Bloom while reading the Ever King, so I feel like I need the visual to make just my reading experience absolutely perfect, you know? So yeah, I will take you guys along with us. We'll see what we get up to today. And then once I have a little bit more of an update on the Ever King, I will check in with you guys.
So your tears been running like a waterfall. Thought the stars would never let you down.
So it's a little bit later at night. We had a pretty busy day today, but I am finally home, obviously in bed, and ready to read a little bit more of The Ever King. I have gotten a little bit further into it just while I've been kind of laying here chilling, and I'm still really enjoying it. We are getting a little bit more of like moments between them. We have just learned why they feel a pull toward one another, and I will say when they are together, some of those moments are so good. I'm starting to like her a little bit more. I know in the beginning I said I wasn't completely sold on her, but I am starting to like her more. She is starting to show more of her like grit and fire, and I wanted to see that, so I'm glad we're getting to see it. But the moments of them together are really good. I just wish we were having a little bit more of that. I want to see their banter, I want to see their interactions, because they don't like each other, but they have a pull toward one another that they just can't deny, and that's kind of a fun dynamic to see. Although you can tell that they don't truly hate each other, even though they say that they do. I feel like this is not a true hate to love kind of thing, but I do like that they are struggling so hard and both of them are trying to like stay away, but that's not gonna happen, and we know that's not gonna happen, and I'm here for it. But I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from reading because I'm just getting kind of tired, and I think I'm gonna watch Pirates of the Caribbean. It's been a very long time since I've seen this movie, but honestly, I just love this film series. Johnny Depp does such an amazing job at being Jack Sparrow, and in these first few, we have Orlando Bloom, and it just feels perfect to read about Eric and watch Pirates of the Caribbean at the same time. So I'm gonna lay in bed, I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be a great time, and then tomorrow I will check in with you guys. Hopefully we'll be able to finish up this book, and then we will wrap up the week. Okay, so it is not Sunday. It is actually currently Tuesday evening. I kind of fell off the bandwagon talking with you guys, weekly vlogging after the weekend. Sunday was just kind of a chill day. You know, I think I left off telling you guys that I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean. It was a great time. I forgot how much I love those movies. They're just so much fun. So much so that I ended up watching the first, second, and third one before I picked The Ever King back up. So, it's taken me a little bit longer to finish this than I thought that it was going to, but I am finally finished, and I have mixed feelings on this because in a lot of ways I think that this is a good book. It definitely has some really quotable moments in it. As a matter of fact, like I did decide to annotate this. There are a lot of things that I wanted to tab, but I found that the further the book went along, like I wanted to love it. This is something that I was like dying to love, but I just never felt myself connecting with it. And I thought, okay, well maybe it's the female main character. Is it Leah? I think it's Livia. I was like, maybe it's Livia. She's just not the type of female main character that I normally love. I really like Eric. And I did like Eric in the beginning, but her like opening thing to this says, "To the queens who love the beautiful black hearts of the villain, face it, they're hotter than the hero." That just set me up to think that Eric was gonna be the villain, that he was going to be this super morally gray character, this bad guy that was not really gonna be redeemed. He was the villain of the story. That is absolutely not true. He definitely has a heart. He has a soft side. Yeah, he does villainous things, but he in no way, shape, or form ever read like a villain to me, especially when you get to the end and you learn more about how everything kind of went down and what all was going on. He's not the villain of the story. I felt like that set up certain expectations, and unfortunately it just did not deliver on those expectations. I was also hoping that this would be like a pirate story and we would get a lot of pirating in this, and yeah, he's the captain of a ship, but all of the like pirating type things for the most part happen off page. This is very much so more of like a romance at its heart than it is a fantasy. And while I don't mind that, there wasn't enough banter between the two of them for me. It was almost like, because of their past, it was instant attraction, not necessarily insta love, but pretty close. They just kind of fell head over heels for each other a little too quickly for me. And I wanted more of that tension. I wanted more of the pirating and them like hating each other, but slowly learning to appreciate one another more despite how he was. But that just wasn't what this book was. So maybe that's on me for having the wrong expectations, but I feel like this is always delivered to me a certain way and promised to me a certain way. So I kind of wanted to maybe say that the expectations like of him being the villain, I wouldn't necessarily like hold your heart on that, and I wouldn't necessarily hold your heart on this being a pirate story. I will also say that we've talked about life being lifing recently, and there's definitely a part of me that feels like maybe the situation and everything that's kind of going on got in my way of enjoying this book, because I would be reading it and then something else would happen and then I would have to put it down, and then I would be reading it and then something else would happen and I would have to put it down. So it definitely made my reading experience very disjointed of this. So I'm like, okay, maybe part of this was just me, not the book. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it a 3-star. I was expecting this to be a full 5-star. Sadly, it's not. Part of me in the beginning was like, this is gonna be a 4-star read, and then the more I went on, it just doesn't quite feel like a 4-star either. So I think I'm gonna settle on a 3-star with the hopes that book 2 really does skyrocket into what I wanted this to be now that we've kind of gotten the setup and the relationship stuff out of the way. And maybe I'll be in a little bit better headspace to read it then. I don't know, but I've been talking about this for far too long. That wraps up the pirate romantasy vlog. I hope you guys had a good time. I definitely did. I had a lot of fun with this vlog. I had a lot of fun trying pirate romance books, watching some Pirates of the Caribbean. It's been overall not the worst week. It's been a rough week, but reading wise, it's been okay. So thank you all for hanging out with me. If you just want to let me know that you were here and you enjoyed the video, please leave me a pirate emoji, so like a pirate ship or something of that nature. As always, links to my Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads are all in the description box below. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!